Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot coming at you with the Weekly Comic Book Roundup. We're about at the halfway point, so let's get cracking. Kicking things off, we've got Spider-Man number 8. Where we left off, Web of Life had been restored, or the Web of Life and Destiny had been restored, and apparently a forgotten sidekick of Spider-Man's returned, having been removed from the Web of Life and Destiny, but with the Totem Dagger. So we open, and of course, when End of Spider-Verse wrapped up, Peter saw there were fire engines heading down the street, so he followed. I'm assuming this picks up shortly afterwards. But Peter rescues people from a burning building, and think about the fact that people that it's always with great power comes great responsibility. But there's a part of it that's not included there that most people omit. Must. But after saving a handful of people from a burning building, he goes in to save everyone that the fire department can't get to. When all is said and done, a woman comes up to him, and her husband was in there, and Peter didn't save him. The firefighter on site, tries to comfort him, but Spider goes off, and while sleeping, he remembers the way. So during End of Spider-Verse, you had this whole thing where Peter was removed from Web of Life and Destiny, but that's more Peter as Spider-Man, not Peter Parker, and in this version of things, Uncle Ben, he didn't get bitten by the spider. Silk did. I mean, she did initially, but yeah. And because of this, Uncle Ben wasn't killed. In fact, Peter took a bullet in the leg defending his aunt and uncle. But thinking about everything, he's basically trying to figure out how to save as many people as possible. Elsewhere, Electro is meeting with an old friend who's been installing high-end safes. They all run off of the same electric grid. So, thought is get Electro in there to pop the safes and then split the loot in each one. Though, yeah, Electro kills his old friend and takes the plans. So Peter has met up with his boss, Norman Osborn, explaining that he wants to increase the usefulness of his spider sense. But adding that, back when Norman was Green Goblin, he made a lot of tech that did nullify it. So, and he, it's a smart move. Say, hey, you made tech that could do this, so why not, let's put some of that research to good. At 0.001%, he has a massive amount of picks up a massive amount of spider sense tingles. Spider Boy, meanwhile, is swinging around and can't seem to find any evidence he ever existed on this earth. But he ends up at the building that Peter had been at the previous night, and he just kind of linked to Peter, so he sees what all happened, and basically concludes that, yeah, Peter's probably going to go and try and do something really stupid. But with his spider sense going crazy, going off. He's able to stop various people from injury. A cyclist gets pulled off his bike. A construction worker falls from the building he's working on and is caught. A guy about to eat a hot dog gets the hot dog yanked out of his hand. Presumably, he likely would have choked on it. A woman texting while walking is about to fall into an empty manhole, or an open manhole, which Spidey covers with webbing. Though, yeah, her shoe gets stuck in it. But yeah, he does what he can. Electro zaps the power grid. Peter does what he can to save some electrical workers, and gets a massive shock. Though he can now, and his spider sense can now sense everyone in the city. And that is where the issue ends. Peter Parker makes a dumb decision. Best way to sum up the issue. Good start to a new story arc. Of course, they had to go with it. So, well, at least starting a new story arc. Moving on though to our next book, we have Carnage Reigns Alpha, kicking off the Summer of Symbiotes. And yes, featured on the cover, we've got Carnage, we got Miles Morales, we got Red Goblin, and we have Iron Man as Sir not appearing in this comic book. So where we left in Miles Morales, in Carnage. Carnage had Cletus Cassidy was with Kenneth Neely, and they massacred a diner. Cops showed up, and as did Miles. So Miles goes in to investigate. Meanwhile, Agent Gao has arrived on scene with her contractor, Scorpion. But Cletus, with the extrembiote, takes a bite out of Miles, and while all this is going on, the Morales family is moving into their new place. Miles barely escapes, in part because of Agent Gao's people showing up, and right before they get obliterated. Scorpion does what he can to help them, but well, there's only so much he can do. And Miles is helping a potential survivor from Carnage's massacre. However, when they get to the roof, well, the survivor is actually an extension of the extrembiote. But Scorpion comes in and actually saves Miles for a minute, but yeah, he still gets worked over pretty badly by Carnage, but with the extrembiote being partially, basically, approach the combination of a symbiote dragon and Iron Man's extremis armor. Well, it's like there are some issues. So when Miles hits Carnage with a Venom Blast, the arc reactor overloads, and the top of the building explodes. There's some backup stuff. Basically, we find out that Agent Gao is not as on the up and up as we might have thought, but she has Scorpion bring in a young superhuman with wind powers during a bank robbery. She used her powers publicly, and so but yeah, Gao has a handful of other superhumans at her disposal, and the intention is to utilize them as a team. And we find out that after Absolute Carnage, Miles talked a bit with his father about his experiences under Carnage's control, and now Miles' father sees that Carnage is back, and apparently Spider-Man is lost in a diner explosion. We also get some backstory on Agent Gao. She worked briefly with John Shade. Got caught up in a fight between Spider-Man, Carnage, and Venom. And did what she could to basically ensure that things didn't go didn't go as poorly as they could have. We've got a little homage image for Summer of Symbiotes, homaging what's an old Jim Lee pinup of the X-Men poolside. Only this time it's symbiotes and their hosts poolside. It's a fun little thing. Gives us an idea of who all will be involved in the Summer of Symbiotes, including some hints about the various tales that will be involved, which includes Extreme Venomverse, which will introduce some new Venom variants, and of course some information about the death of Venomverse. But that is where the issue ends. So far, an interesting start to the story. I like that the events of basically having the Carnage in his head still messes with Miles. That's the kind of thing I imagine would really mess with someone after all. Anyways, moving on though to our next book, we've got Cult of Carnage Misery, #1. So this goes back between the present and the past. The point in the past being back when Harry Osborn and Liz Allen were dating. Apparently, he painted a picture of her. And she discovered that Harry had a safe room had a hidden room in their apartment with goblin gear, which she turns over to seems to be Alchemax and the jury, or the guardsmen, not the jury, the guardsmen. Normie insists they keep it, saying, hey, Dad was keeping this to protect us, not to use it for. But her nephew Stanley, a pumpkin bomb is dropped, and her nephew Stanley picks it up and thinking it's a toy. And so Normie admits, okay, all right, yeah, she's right. At Alchemax Labs, I can't remember the name of this particular scientist, but a piece of the Carnage symbiote was being experimented upon with the potential of being a chimpanzee. The idea is they're going to combine it with the anti-venom symbiote, and but they've also got the other Life Foundation symbiotes to work with. So, meanwhile, a member of one of the Alchemax guardsmen is being recruited by presumably the Life Foundation or someone to steal symbiote material for them. It turns out that Carlton that the head of the Life Foundation is trying to buy out Alchemax, mainly for the symbiote stuff, but stating that but privately he tells Liz that when they're working on the symbiotes falls apart and Alchemax goes bankrupt, well, he's the one who's going to be there to pick up the pieces. Then, but Liz meets with a doctor friend of hers, and she has a sample of the combined anti-Carnage symbiote. The former guardsman attacks Spearhead and the guardsman under him, going after Liz Allen, as well as, and he also manages to steal the 4 Life Foundation symbiotes. But there's still one that he didn't get. The anti-Carnage one. And so, the anti-Carnage symbiote bonds with Liz, and she becomes Misery. And that is where the issue ends. Alright, an interesting start to the miniseries. Honestly, I thought this was going to be just a one-shot, but nope. Next up, we've got Spider-Man 2099, Dark Genesis #1. This week's there's a lot this week about Carnage, focusing on Carnage, and this is the introduction of Carnage 2099. So after everything that happened in the recent Spidey 2099 miniseries, 2099 Exodus, black cards were all broke, and there are people basically going after former black cards. In particular, the one we're focusing on has the remains of the Carnage symbiote, and he slaughters the various the people who come to rob him. Spider-Man and Spider-Woman of 2099 are Spider-Man's investigating. Spider-Woman's dealing with crowd control. Alchemax is kind of like, yeah, we need to do what we can to distance ourselves from Carnage, because if it gets out that the symbiote was in fact Alchemax property, that could be bad. But all the Alchemax clinics are being guarded by public eye to prevent certain people with lower economic means of getting in. Spidey goes after Carnage, ends up getting stabbed in the leg. Ghost Rider finds out what's going on and opts to go after it. Go after Carnage. Moon Knight is awakened on the crescent crypt of the moon. Miguel gets stabbed in the leg gets his leg cut by Carnage, and something. The wound is definitely infected somehow. But Venom of 2099 also joins the fray. And that, after her father, a member of the public eye, comes home very, very brutally injured by Carnage. That is where the issue ends. Good start. I love the fact we're getting. We're going to see Venom and Carnage 2099 going head to head. Moving on, though, to our next book, we've got Edge of Spider-Verse #1. Another Edge of Spider-Verse miniseries. Not complaining. Yeah, the cover does kind of sum up the one of the stories pretty succinctly. Yep, it's Spider-Rex versus Venom-Rex. Though the framing device is that Cravertooth the Hunter has gone after Spider-Rex. Which leads to, and there's a Spider-Rex theme song that's very clearly being sung by people to the tune of the old animated Spider-Man theme song, and Brachiosaurus ends up falling into some tar, and well, yeah, Venomsaurus Rex kidnaps Mary Jane Velociraptor, and Spider-Rex goes to save her. And Venomsaurus Rex very nearly drops her into a volcano. But Spider-Rex saves her. There's an explosion which seems to imply Carnage is coming. Though it seems Venomsaurus Rex ends up falling into the lava. So then we've got Spider Killer on Earth 90215. Harry Osborn told to look for a red spider on door. This really kind of feels like a Venom noir. But we got Kurt Connors and apparently the Sinier working for the Chameleon, who are extorting money from the owner of the Daily Bugle. But Spider Killer shows up. And but the Daily Bugle sign falls on top of the Chameleon and his henchmen. Osborn and Jameson leave together, but Osborn has found what appears to be an egg in the remains of Spider Killer. That is where the issue ends. Alright, I like to do the dichotomy of the two stories. You know, we've got one that's very tongue-in-cheek and fun, and another that's, like I said, feels much like the Spider-Man noir stories. Moving on to our last book for the moment, we've got Groot, #1. This takes place. This takes place in the past of the Marvel Universe. We get to see some of it. It's denoted as taking place starting off on Planet X long ago. Groot at the time was a mere sapling, and Planet X. Something happened on a cataclysm happened on Planet X, at the planet Thantalus, the edge of the Kree Empire. Captain Solar and his Star Force crew are investigating what's happened to the planet. Private Marvel joins on a away mission to get a closer look, and the terrorists thereafter are using chainsaws. Think robot dinosaurs with giant chainsaws. Marvel uses their ship's weaponry to take out the chainsaws, which depletes the ship's energy. So they're stuck there for a little bit. But further scouting on the planet, some cargo modules are found. Inside one of the cargo modules is Groot, Gleep, and Tweeg. Marvel ends up saving them, and so I was like, okay, yeah, you know, this guy's a friend. But and Marvel convinces Jan Rog to send a ship to Planet X to, well, see if it's also been victimized by the spoilers. They arrive, and yes, it has been. And the issue ends with them arriving and Groot, Gleep, and Tweeg going off into the forest with Private Val following. Alright, interesting start to things. Let's get some or, I don't want to say origin, but new stories concerning a young Groot before the Guardians and before most of the stories within the Marvel universe happen as well. Anyway, that is going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal in the description box down below. Also in the description box is the link to my the giveaway launch video that is running through for pretty much the rest of the month. Check that out. Enter if you want. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, though, saying, live long and rock hard.